Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cryptid Zoo. Now, I know I don't sound all that excited, but let me tell you guys, I am very, very excited about this episode today because boy, do we have a banger for you guys today. Now, I would usually say who it is since I'm doing the intro, but honestly, I want to pass that off to Todd. Todd, you want to take it from here?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Today, ladies and gentlemen, and everything that isn't a lady or a gentleman, today we are talking about the Jersey Devil. This, I know I say this in every episode, but this is one of my favorite cryptids.
Oh my goodness.
Can we get a counter? Can we get a counter for every time he says that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to overwork myself.
Yeah, can we let's get the editor on that.
But editor, defiantly put in a JC stupid giggle right now.
What did I do? What did I do to deserve this? I don't understand.
Butler, slap JC. But yeah, the Jersey Devil is among the first 5 cryptids I learned about in my early childhood, and for good reason. It's a very infamous cryptid, and might I even say, an aggressive one. Every single cryptid we've dealt with up until now has mostly been, oh, I'm living my best life, and all these dumb humans keep trying to find me, and it's like, okay, you go on, you little frog dude. This one's like, I'll kill children. I don't give a You're all getting it. This thing is default aggressive.
Everybody can.
Dude's hands are rated E for everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How do you guys feel about a description? You think I should give a description?
No, I think you should lead them in blindly.
JC, I'm turning on the shot collar attached to your genitalia.
Damn.
Question me. The Jersey Devil is often described as a biped with hooves and wide spread out bat-like wings. There's hardly an official description for the creature since details are constantly changing, making the Jersey Devil one of the first authentic chimeras of North America. And for anyone who doesn't know what a chimera is a creature that bears multiple different traits of like multiple different animals. Constant details of the Jersey Devil describe hooves, wings, and a deer-like head with horns and or antlers adorning the top of its head. It's also said to have a blood-curdling scream that is described as an unnatural human scream of agony. So, let you think about that for a bit. This thing is a straight-up monster, and I love it. I love every bit about it. And
what is your favorite thing?
My favorite.
You could just say one real quick.
Antlers. I love the horns. Really? I love its horns.
Interesting. Most
of the time, like the only other cryptid that has horns like these are a jackal, or is that what it's called? Jackalope. That's what it's called. Jackalope. Which fun fact is a cryptid.
I have one last question real quick. I apologize, but this just really confused me. So a lot of people will associate goat heads with symbolism. Is it possible that maybe some people got the head mistaken and it actually is a goat head and not a deer head?
It could be. That's why details are constantly changing. It's kind of hard to see specifically.
Which I should probably mention, the reason I'm being so quiet, I should kind of mention why my voice is not being very loud this episode. I'm in the process of moving, and my family is entirely asleep, and they have to be up early in the morning, so I'm whispering for this episode.
If you want to know exactly what the Jersey Devil is, then we're going to hop straight into our first case file of the night. Buckle up, we're on the highway to hell. While there are many variations regarding the birth of the Jersey Devil, the most popular of the theories goes back to 1735. Deep in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, Jane Leeds, a mother of 12, discovered she was pregnant with her 13th child. In frustration, she claimed a profound curse, stating, quote, "Let this one be the devil," end quote. Weird choice of words. I'm just gonna say that off the thing. Like, I can't imagine being in any sort of frustration and then just sort of being like, I hope my child comes out as John Wayne Gacy. It's like, eeh.
I mean, but she, like, you said that was her 13th child?
Oh yeah, she's shooting them out like a baby cannon. Just boom, boom, boom,
jeez, boom. Man.
So I'd imagine I'd be a little pissed off at the 13th one, which, by the way, unlucky number. One dark and stormy night, Mother Leeds would give birth to her 13th child, The baby was born a normal child. That is, until it sprouted wings, horns, hooves, and a tail. The monster thrashed about the room, assaulting everyone within before flying up the chimney and out into the night.
Do you think the umbilical cord was still attached?
No. What happened was he was born, and then like they had a doctor, they cut the umbilical cord. He was fine for like the first minute, and then he started to mutate.
So it was like a
He was now yanking his mom around like a dog on a leash. Many legends were fabricated regarding the Jersey Devil. One such account claimed they witnessed the Jersey Devil attack a trolley car in Haddon Heights. Later that day, other residents would report finding a single set of unidentifiable tracks in the snow. The devil would later attack a social club in Camden. These widespread reported sightings ultimately caused a mass fear and panic, resulting in schools closing, even forcing workers to stay at home for a short period of time.
Really?
Very official. The government did have a mass shutdown of schools and jobs so that people didn't leave their houses.
Due to the Jersey Devil?
Yes.
Wow. So they genuinely believed in this thing. This thing was real, like for a period of
It was
time.
real to them.
It was real in concept.
Irregardless of if like the facts support it or stand against it, it had a very real impact on this county.
Oh,
That's
seriously,
insane,
man. Well, I was going to say the only time I ever heard of the government shutting anything down was obviously COVID. And now apparently they were shutting it down because of rumors of the Jersey Devil. Like that's kind of nuts.
I mean, they shut it down for like snowfall.
Okay, but like, oh, yeah. Continue. You know what?
You know
Continue.
I'm right. I'm right.
I know you're right.
While traveling on Route 9 in Bayfield, New Jersey, 3 cars were forced to a hard stop when drivers witnessed a 10-foot tall creature with a long head and short, flat ears run out across the road. Despite this, the Pine Barrens are said to be a hotspot for supernatural phenomenon and may be home to more than just the Jersey Devil. So a lot of things are sort of being drawn to the Pine Barrens more than just the Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil's just, if I were to be so bold, the king, the land baron or whatever, he's the big fish. But there are many like ghost sightings, supernatural events.
Vampires, perhaps ghouls and gargoyles.
All right.
Crab people?
I'm going to hit you guys with a car if you keep joshing on the Pine Barrens. Yeah, the general idea of this is that the Jersey Devil had a profound impact on, I said the county earlier, but I'll say just the area. And the common name we have for it now is the Jersey Devil, but it's also known as the Leeds Devil. Hence, Jane Leeds giving birth to it. But, Jersey Devil sounds almost like better.
So, real quick.
Yes.
One of the other influential cryptids that we saw being Mothman, right? Like they have the whole festival for him and everything. Like that whole town really loves Mothman, right? Who do you believe is more influential, Mothman or the Jersey Devil?
So I'm actually really glad you said that because Mothman, I'm going to have to say Mothman's more influential because the people of New Jersey do not look at the Jersey Devil with like admiration. They do not idolize this creature, as this creature has terrorized them for the past like century. Albeit whether or not you find it like good, they do have references to it in their culture, but they have references such as the Jersey Devil like hockey team.
Yeah, the New Jersey Devils, right?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's kind of hard to ignore something, even if it is terrorizing your state, county, or area, or whatever it is that it's terrorizing, whatever local area of Jersey it's terrorizing. I feel like it's hard to not have it in your culture.
Yeah, like its influence, like it still had influence on the community, and you make a fair point with Mothman like being praised where he's from, but like I wasn't necessarily looking for positive influence. I was looking for just influence in general, like which one do you think influenced the town more?
Well, then that depends on what your definition of influence is, because Mothman and the Jersey Devil are two different sides of the same coin, where they both impacted the people they're from. Mothman, it's more of like this sort of hopeful retelling of this mythical creature that was almost like seeing a unicorn, while the Jersey Devil influenced them for this time period and was this big boogeyman, like, don't go out at night, it is very possible that this thing will kill you. So honestly, I'm still going to have to go with Mothman because everyone knows about Mothman. The Jersey Devil's a little lesser known. He's not obscure, but he's lesser known
Just
to the extent.
less known.
Yeah. So the first case file, as I mentioned, was to sort of personify the Jersey Devil's impact on the state and the area. The second case file, we are going to delve more into its nature. I'm going to go on a limb and say, regardless of what you think about the Jersey Devil, I think that these, in my personal opinion, have the most evidence packed into each of these stories. One of the first reported Jersey Devil sightings was in 1812. Joseph Bonaparte, the older brother of Napoleon, claimed he saw the Jersey Devil while hunting near his Bordentown estate. The legend grew, fueled by animal attacks, strange footprints, and reports filed by eyewitnesses who supposedly encountered the beast. In January of 1909, thousands of reports would sprout from eyewitnesses throughout South Jersey. While testing cannonballs at Hanover Mills Works in the Pine Barrens, Navy Commander Stephen Decatur reportedly spotted the creature. In an attempt to bring it down, the commander pointed a cannon at it and fired in an attempt to obliterate the creature. However, much to the commander's surprise, the cannonball blew a hole in the devil, only for it to glare back with a cold, petrifying gaze. The Jersey Devil wasn't fazed by the projectile. This thing tanked a cannonball and didn't flinch.
Holy crap.
Ooh, I could not wait for Death Battle.
It's gonna be insane. And
Jersey Devil solos.
Investigating the area around the site, strange tracks were found in the field, but bloodhounds refused to follow the tracks for some unknown reason. In 1980, Wharton State Forest Chief Ranger Alan McFarland saw something that both grossed him out and stumped his wildlife expertise. On a South Jersey farm, a pack of pigs had been killed in a most unusual way. He reported that the backs of their heads were eaten hollow and their bodies were scratched and torn. However, there were no tracks surrounding the bodies and no blood on the ground, nothing to indicate any sort of a disturbance.
So this thing easy cracked its skull and pulled a predator, the series Aliens vs. Predator, and yoinked the spine as a trophy or perhaps a lollipop.
Or fun. And it's very hard for anyone to really stake a claim like, oh, the Jersey Devil, killed my brother. It's like, if he killed your brother, you're not finding your brother. So, but I do think it's worth noting that a bounty of $250,000 was placed on the Jersey Devil, which, to the best of my knowledge, is less than Lizard Man. I'm kind of weirded out by that, where it's like, I think Lizard Man was way less of a threat than the Jersey Devil. The Jersey Devil was tanking cannon shots. What was Lizard Man doing? Just kind of skittering around, going. Ah, bah, bah.
I like how you went to the Jersey Devil. His worst thing was taking a cannon shot when he ripped the spine out of a pig.
Well, yeah.
Multiple pigs.
Well, it's more like, how the hell are you going to catch the Jersey Devil when a cannonball doesn't hurt him? I mean, it blew a hole in him, but he didn't fucking care.
So they
Do you think it's one of those things where you have to chop off his head?
Possible. Even then, you want to get close to that thing? Go ahead. Be my guest.
I mean, $250,000. Boys, we're going to Jersey.
You're going to Jersey. You're going to Jersey. I'm throwing both of you out of a plane. I'm airdropping you guys in Jersey.
Don't worry, I'm taking my boy Michigan Dog Man with me. He got that dog in him.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a terrifying monster. So how about we try to decode what this thing is? So,
go for it. Let's get into our theories.
By far, I believe that this monster, or cryptid, or whatever you want to call it, is definitively one of the most supernatural monsters, and it's going to be almost impossible for us to not delve into supernatural forces with this, which I'm actually happy to do, because that's more fun. I could sit here and be like, it's a mutant, but I don't think any of us are buying that.
Mm-hmm.
The first theory is that the Jersey Devil is a sort of demon slash devil, which for anyone unfamiliar with our term of demon, we usually define it as some otherworldly being, such as interdimensional monster or something like that. Demon, I'd like to ignore religion in this whole debate because people have their own beliefs, and I don't want to shut down cryptid conspiracies based on just hearsay. So the first theory is that it is a demon slash devil, explaining its brutality, durability, and brute strength that it has exemplified, and also its extremely malicious nature.
I kind of like this one, but I am willing to hear the other ones. I feel like this is definitely like the first, at if you're taking it at surface value, this is probably like the first go-to thought.
I think I'm gonna agree with that, honestly. Like, I don't really have anything else to say, but that's pretty much what I wanted to say.
Okay, it's good. We'll give you a little bit more to talk about with the next couple. The next one, we're gonna only dip our toes back into the last episode, which I don't like to dwell on episodes because it's a little hazy for people who like to go episode by episode. They don't know what we talked about last episode. But the second theory is that it is an evil spirit, not necessarily a Native American spirit, mind you, but that it is a evil spirit that is sort of haunting the Pine Barrens as this malicious entity. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's all right. It's not the worst theory I've ever heard, but I think there are better explanations, you know?
It definitely sounds like it's kind of reaching. I feel like for a spirit to exist, there has to be some type of evil thing to happen for an evil manifestation to exist.
Let's be real. It's New Jersey. Evil things happen all the time. The reason why I'm not a huge fan of this theory is specifically because of the physical violence that it's exemplified. Even then, like, no matter what you believe about spirits, I think there's one theme that stays consistent with like spirit-like entities, and that is that their physical interaction with the we'll say material plane, it's semi-limited. You can't really cause like brutal and gruesome harm to anyone, but this thing has flown out and attacked trolley cars, pigs, livestock, and left no trace of its existence.
I think the first theory is definitely more plausible than this one. I mean, you did say that area is known for having supernatural encounters. I just don't feel like that thing is a spirit. That is most definitely a physical being.
Which I am going to briefly hop in with a little post-it. I don't know if this is going to be a consistent thing in the podcast, but this is where I'm probably going to go a little bit more in depth about generalized things. So the post-it is for supernatural environments, or whatever you want to call them, supernatural territories. There are different areas within the earth, allegedly, because all this is alleged, where supernatural phenomenon is more common to occur. This tends to be places with either great loss or just geological hotspots, such as a famous one is the Bermuda Triangle. Everyone knows about this one. And that's why people theorize it's aliens, ghosts, or just the sea is way more violent there. But the main idea is that there's something more at play. And with the Pine Barrens being said to be another supernatural hotspot, I think that gives it credence to, I'd say, coming out with a bit more outlandish theories that make it more fun to talk about. So the next theory is exactly what you think. The third theory is that the Jersey Devil is exactly what the Leeds family described, a child that was cursed via otherworldly powers and mutated into this being beyond mortality, explaining its ability to persist for 300 years. It would also give it a reason to act so outlandishly towards the very humanity that it was banished from. So I think narratively, that's the most fun theory. And I'm going to answer right now before I even get into the proof. That is my favorite theory.
Brendan, do you want to take this one by the lead, or?
I think this one is the most plausible. And the only reason why I believe that is because, don't get me wrong, the first theory was pretty compelling, but this one,
it's a little bit of a mix of these two.
A little bit, yes, but this one also calls back to the first story where she basically said, I hope this next child's the devil. I mean, bringing a call back to that honestly makes it a little bit more believable for me.
Yeah, I do really like this theory. I think it's like really big, like fan favorite for cryptid people. I feel like this is probably a well-liked theory. because I like it as well, and I think that speaks volumes if all three of us like it.
So, coming in back to back post-its. Post-it. The reason why this is a popular theory is because there are rumors that Jane Leeds was actually a witch back in the day, and that this child
Ooh.
was not that of her and her husband, but was in fact conceived by her and a devil of some sort. Thus, and again, I know I said I'd stray away from Christian mythology or anything like that, and I'm not saying that it is Christian, but I think it's extremely fun to point out that if that is true, that would make the Jersey Devil the Antichrist.
I was about to say, I was really about to say, I was like, that sounded a lot like the Antichrist, which if the
again,
Antichrist
that's not what I think it is, but it's fun to point out.
It's pretty fun to point out. The Antichrist has come and gone, which is there's still sightings of the Jersey Devil
to this day. Yes, they're far and they're less in between, but they're here and around.
Are they far less intense?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. Because if you look at that point, like, could you imagine if the devil sent like the Antichrist and it just flopped entirely, like it didn't go according to plan, and he just was like, "This is lame."
It's like, why? I've never trusted this shit again. I'll see you on Rapture Day. Just walks away.
That's funny. He sends like the Antichrist with the intent of destroying the world, and what ends up happening is people are like, "Oh my god, Cryptid."
He's like, okay.
Like, wow. Why does Lizardman have a higher bounty than my child?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. With those three out of the way, I am going to tackle the proof. For those who don't know, the proof is the scientific explanation or attempt at an explanation of what the Jersey Devil is. The common consensus or the general rational thought is that the Jersey Devil was more than a ghost story, but was political intrigue gossip. Allow me to explain.
Oh, I like this one.
At the time, the Leeds family was sort of involved in town politics. And as such, word started passing around that, she was a witch. She had black magic. She had too many children, things like that. And so people started to fabricate this sort of like legend and manifested their fears into the form of the Jersey Devil. And the reason why it's described as what it is because of the Leeds family emblem, which has a fairly similar representation of a dragon on it with wide spread out wings and a goat-like head, because dragons sort of have goat-like heads, but you're kind of reaching, but you get the idea. More than just a ghost story, it is political intrigue gossip. And with that, because we're going to kind of like touch upon this, I'd like to ask you guys, what theory do you like the best?
Ooh, okay, so 3 and 4, hard hitting, man. I know occasionally I can be more of a skeptic than leaning into believing some of this stuff, but at the same time, that rational explanation, politics was a big thing back then, and it has only gotten bigger nowadays, So, politics, explaining that away, extremely credible, but I want to have a little fun. I really like the third one more. By a decent jump too. So I'm gonna say that this thing, supernatural.
All right.
At first I really like the political theory. As you guys know, I love my political conspiracy theories. But I can't help but believe this child was just unfortunately cursed. I really liked the government one and how it was just a bunch of babble to get people against them, but I really gotta go with the cursed one. I just have to, man. That's the one that seems the most real to me, and I really liked how it called back to the origin, and that once again, just that small detail really made it more believable for me.
I think that's great. I'm gonna go out and say that I think the third theory is more credible, but I like the political intrigue gossip one just a little bit more, only because of the context surrounding it and everything sort of clicking, and when you hear more and more about it, and if you fully research the whole backstory on it, things start to make sense, and it's like, oh, that's clicking with that. And even then, it doesn't explain the encounters around the Pine Barrens, but that's why I say I think it's cursed, but I love myself some political gossip.
I mean, could you imagine that they make up the rumor for the Jersey Devil, and then these like skullless, spineless pigs show up,
Mhm.
these corpses, and it's just like a werewolf on the loose, but it gets chalked up to the Jersey Devil, and the werewolf is just so pissed that he just stops.
Yeah, he's not getting credit. And this is not a fourth theory, but I just want to introduce this as a bonus theory, just as a rough idea uh, of the physical concept of manifestation. There is also a possibility, not a big one, but a possibility that the political intrigue gossip actually manifested the Jersey Devil with all the negative emotions and power surrounding it. Again, I'm not going to give that any room to like discuss, but it's a fun thought experiment. So with
Gonna
that,
plant the seed.
let's jump straight into our categories. Fellas,
Sick.
the Jersey Devil has been a fun episode, and it's a fun cryptid. So I ask you the question, do you like it? Do you like the Jersey Devil?
I really like the Jersey Devil, so I've heard a decent bit about it, even growing up. As somebody who is extremely interested in like Bigfoot, aliens, and the supernatural period, I was always a really big skeptic until I became a full-on believer of ghost, and that kind of led me into wanting to know more about the world, and that led me into cryptids because cryptids are, if anything,
They're the
just
unexplained.
as supernatural and paranormal as ghost. And so that being said, the Jersey Devil is like up there on my list. He is a really famous homie. I wouldn't say homie, really famous thing, creature, evil thing. And I like the idea, but I hope nobody dies due to it.
Okay, so I remembered what I was going to say earlier. Remember when I said, okay, so I this is not a theory, but this is something to think about. Up until this point, I've talked a lot about Fleshgate without specifying what it is. To briefly give everyone a reminder, the idea is that these monsters just exist and the government has ways to actively contain them. The thought that I had was assuming that the Jersey Devil has lived 300 years and is persisting outside of government power. The idea that I'm following is that the Jersey Devil is too powerful to be contained. And so, as such, it's just kind of killing to its heart's content.
Interesting.
That's true. I mean, one thing is for sure, if this thing was able to be contained, that does beg the question, what weapon or like thing are we using against it to contain this thing? It would have to be insanely strong or some kind of science that we just do not know of yet.
The thought behind it for me is that it's less about the government not having the power to contain it, because I mean, the power of the sun, but the idea is that you can't contain it without making a scene. And so as such, their method of containing it would be to allocate their branch of the government to sort of cornering it into a specific area in the Pine Barrens, thus explaining why sightings are less frequent but still happen.
At that point, they would probably have a special branch or special team dedicated to the cleanup or the aftermath of the Jersey Devil visiting a site.
Here's a little bit of a peek behind the Fleshgate curtain so that you guys know what I'm talking about. The theory goes that that branch does exist and that it's the branch dedicated to the national parks.
Ooh.
Which, you know, we'll tackle that when we get to them.
Highest peg above park rangers.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, that was supposed to be Do We Like It? Brendan, we need to know if you like it.
I was kind of waiting there for a second for my turn, but that's okay. It's all right. No worries.
What if we just skipped
like
you,
it.
went straight to treasure hunt?
I would probably.
We're going to jump straight into treasure hunt. This is the category where I will give you guys 3 minutes to go find the most obscure piece of Jersey Devil merchandise. And if you both pick the exact same one, you have to buy it. 3 minutes starts now. Go. Good luck. Time's up.
All right,
JC,
so I have a backup. Yeah,
we're gonna have you go first because you
sound.
sound very unprepared.
All right.
I want to make sure you don't have extra time to Google stuff. Abide by the rules.
Yeah. Here you go. So
present
I did
your
have a
first
backup.
item.
There's always one thing that I choose. I chose the Jersey Devil flexing.
Okay, that is a picture of the Jersey Devil in what I describe as a thong, but it's probably more like a what would you call that? Speedo?
It's like a jock strap.
It's a jock strap. We'll call it a jock strap. A
He's
ripped ass
absolutely
Jersey
shredded.
Devil, completely shredded. Okay, that's interesting.
It's a great shirt though.
It is a good shirt. I do kind of like it. Neat. I give you 5 points.
Alrighty.
I give you 5 points,
Hey.
Jesse.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
Out of what?
Brendan, present yours.
Okay. So for my treasure hunt, hopefully, I'm hoping to take in a win on this one. We have a custom-made Jersey Devil D&D figurine.
Oh.
I didn't look far. I looked it up, and that was one of the first things that you could grab. It was 3D printed, and I was like, "This is really cool." Brendan probably chose this.
Yep, that was the first thing I chose.
Yeah, I scrolled past it.
I was like, Todd likes D&D. I'm doing this one.
Fella,
Yeah,
I do.
Brendan
Indeed,
beat
I
me to
do.
it, man.
So to describe what I'm looking at, there is a little resin 3D print of the Jersey Devil, and this is a lot more descriptive than most things give for the Jersey Devil. I will say I don't know where its arms are, but I'm willing to forgive that.
I'm not.
I don't know where its arms are.
Down with him. Down with him.
Yeah, 5 points for you, Brendan.
Wait, so what?
So-
What do you?
So, if I have to
All right,
pick
bro. All right,
between
bro. That's
the
sick.
two, listen, if you want to complain to me, I'll take away one of those points.
Okay.
So, right now I'm just looking at two completely jacked ass Jersey Devils. Muscle tone is very descript, but if I had to say something, the one Brendan presented is tight in the thighs. So, and I'm a big leg guy myself, but also that jockstrap's doing something. So if I have to give the win to anyone, I'm gonna have to go for the one who worked a little bit harder, and I'm gonna give it to Brendan for the first win in Cryptid Zoo history. Congratulations, Brendan, on your win. You are now on the board with 1 point. JC has 4.
Good luck catching up, slug.
All right. Our next category is promptly titled Encounter. Brendan and JC, you are both wandering along a dark trail. You seem to have gotten lost. You both went camping, but can't find your way back to your campsite until you hear the heavy footsteps that would be of this massive 10-foot tall figure
Bigfoot.
lurching towards you. As you can almost smell its breath permeating through. I'm sorry, I'm going into my D&D mindset. The Jersey Devil's in front of you. And it's looking pissed. It's looking toy. It's ready to kill. What do you do?
So what I decide to do is I say, Mr. Devil, this is my friend JC. He has a very nice, plump, and juicy soul, ripe for the taking. You know what? You should just... And then I shove JC and run.
He's light-skinned staring at JC.
He's light skin staring me as I look at him and I go, "Hey, I just want you to know the ancestor of Brendan. Yeah, that was the guy that shot the cannonball at you. So, I mean, you could eat me and I'd be pretty good for the moment, but you could eat him and it'd be pretty good, like, forever."
He's looking like he really does not care, as he is going to grab you and promptly fly you 100 feet into the air before letting
Let me go.
momentum stop.
Let me go.
And as he's gonna hit you with the
Let me go.
meanest pile driver known to man. Brendan, as you're running, you just hear this as you're running before you hear something behind you, giving a little flap and chase. As he's here for round 2.
So I turn around. And you know what I do? I start to power up and I turn into a Super Saiyan.
He gores you
and
with his
I
horns.
beat this.
You get pinned against the wall. Your entrails spill out.
Yo,
I feel like Krillin right now fighting second form Frieza.
Well, tell me what you think about our next category, Death Battle. Tonight's opponents are the Jersey Devil pit against the Michigan Dogman. Yeah, so
Hold on.
Yeah,
hold
like
on,
I'm gonna be
hold on. Okay.
real quick. I'm gonna be real quick. Like I know we do this one every episode, but like let's be honest, guys. It's a
Let's be honest.
wash.
this one
Okay,
in
I wouldn't
specific
say-
is a wash.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
say
like
it's
the other ones were a
entirely
little
wash.
close. What should you shut your mouth?
Listen. I don't think it's a complete wash entirely because I don't think he completely rinses out Dogman in a fight. Although, yes, he would win. I don't think it would necessarily be like one tap over, like a 1 second fight. I think this is more of an endurance
Right, it'd be a
fight.
3-second fight.
I
Yeah.
think, in my eyes, it's more of an endurance fight until Dogman gives out.
I do not
Unfortunately.
agree with that at all. And I love Dogman.
Let me throw this your way, bro. I'm gonna pull every power scaler's favorite argument. Speed blitzing.
He's not going to
This thing
speed
can
blitz.
fly. How
But-
do you know? How do you know the Jersey Devil isn't gonna instantly charge this thing as soon as he sees it, dude?
Well, no, it will, but I'm talking specifically in definitions of what a speed blitz is. He cannot reach like the speed of sound. If something hit you at the speed of sound, even then, you still got a second to live. That's only because I'm being super literal with the definition. I'm still on your side. This thing
I think-
completely runs through the cast.
Yeah, I think the Jersey Devil is way stronger than Dogman. I'm saying this right out the bat, but I think Dogman is either equally or a little faster than the Jersey Devil. And I'm not talking about flight capability. I'm talking about reaction speed. Keep in mind, Dogman was either dodging bullets or tanking them.
I'll give him speed, but I think the Jersey's Devil still like outclasses him in every
Yeah.
other matter.
Most
And even
definitely.
then, even though he's taking speed, this is not necessarily like I know on my monster podcast, we're talking about this not being fiction, but in fiction, if someone's faster than you, then that's a huge factor. In this, if I'm faster than Brendan's still punching me in the nose and I'm falling on the ground. I don't care how fast I am. The Devil's gonna give him a tracheotomy. He is not surviving.
Like, what happens if he kills the Dogman the same way he killed you in the encounter? What if he grabs him, flies him up?
He's
It's
not
like a pile
suplexing
driver, bro.
him.
How the do you know?
Because he's not. I'm dumb. That's why I
don't
described it
think-
like that.
I don't think any of them have a chance of winning unless, for whatever reason, the Flatwoods Monster's chemical attack somehow gasses this thing and it just dies.
I don't think mustard
That's-
gas is more powerful than a
that's-
cannonball. Sorry, I'm dragging on, but like we've already come to the consensus that the Jersey Devil's winning.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna speed through each one and then we'll wrap it up there. Mothman, we don't even have to talk about. He's getting swatted. The Lizard Man's getting probably disemboweled. Maybe his spine's a nice little belt. The Flatwoods Monster, it's got some defense, but even then, it's nothing that the Jersey Devil hasn't seen before. And again, with its height and its strength and its speed and everything, it just is. And then the Dogman, like you said, I think the Dogman is the closest contender, but even then, it's not really a fight. He's getting low diffed.
He's dog walking him, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
that's-
he's walking the dog. Gentlemen, I think we have a new apex on the Cryptid totem pole. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jersey Devil is our reigning champion.
the Jersey Devil gets the BMF belt.
Any disagreements?
I think it's gonna be a while before this dude gets toppled.
Yeah. Well, I know one that could probably do it, but we'll get to that.
Ooh.
I don't think it's gonna be well. Every episode we've come out with something either stronger or faster than the previous, or even more supernatural. So, I mean, who knows? Next episode, we don't know yet. Or
So what are we
maybe the
doing for next
following
episode?
two.
Stay tuned. So let's get into our last category. After everything you've heard on this episode, after all the tales and all the intrigue and all the theories, at the end of the day, fellas, do you think that it is real or could be real?
Ooh, man, you know what? This one is like
It's a tough one.
this is tough. It is, because it's like there have been multiple encounters with it, and not to mention a majority of the details have remained the same.
And the school and business shutdowns.
I think the only thing that I sort of
Yeah.
like want to interject is that like I said in the stories, surprisingly, there is way more details than any other cryptid we've covered so far.
No, like that's what's like really throwing me off, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what's like. Granted, those details could have been fabricated, right? Like we don't necessarily know; they could have totally been fabricated. But the fact that this one has the most information about it,
Ooh, there is one thing that I didn't really exclaim, and this might help you lean in one way or another. But one of the accounts, the Wharton State Forest Chief Ranger Alan McFarland, I got to say his whole title, that was
Mhm.
government researched. So it was more than a local town. That was an official government report.
Really feeding into the Fleshgate theory here.
Really feeding into Fleshgate.
All right, dude. I think I gotta believe it. I think I gotta believe it then.
All right. That's
believe
great.
It. I'm gonna believe it as well. I'm doubling down on this. Not really much more to say. Just all the evidence is stacking. I'm believing this one.
And then we come down to me. I've always sung its praise, and going into this, much like many of the cryptids we've covered, I went into it sort of believing, then starting to research and starting to waver more towards the no. And yeah, a lot of the stories have a lot of details, but I was sort of under the impression of that its origin was a bit too supernatural for me to say anything definitive. But as everyone said, as I read more and I got more stories and I got more accounts, everything became a lot more officialized. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to have to stake that I think this thing is real. I love the Jersey Devil. I think it's real and I think it's there. But fellas, you got any closing remarks? Any closing remarks before we wrap up our episode?
I guess the last thing I'll say is actually, you know what? No, never mind. I'm gonna eat my non-existent words here.
Sorry, I don't know why I made that noise. I'm cutting that.
What the
Fun
was that?
Well, thank you everyone for listening to the 5th episode of Cryptid Zoo. I love the Jersey Devil. That's the last time I'm going to say it. We might retackle him. We'll see later. But as of now, this episode is being released on the 22nd.
Yeah, I was about to say this is the
and
week before Halloween. Hello, future me.
Please tune in next time for our Halloween special, where we are going to be tackling ghosts.
Ooh.
See you later, bye guys.